Well, praise the Lord, saints of God. This is Elder Adrian Heyman, and I'm continuing the series on the amendments to the Constitution and the role of the saint, whether it's whether it's applicable, not applicable. I'm definitely not one that tries to advocate overthrow of the government, but I just want to see essentially just how being a citizen of the kingdom of God not only dovetails, but it actually even holds us to a much higher authority than what the country's laws does. But first we have to make sure we know what the laws say and what our rights are. And that's the reason why we're going through these constitutional amendments. If you like what we're doing, you can see them not only on Facebook for 30 days after we post it, but also it will be on, and that's a helicopter right now. It's okay, I'm outside. We're also on YouTube. And what you can do is that you can go to the page on YouTube, just type in, wait till it passes by. And there we go. So I'm sorry for the interruption. Just type in Elder Adrian Heyman. Type in that, and you should be able to go to all of the posts that we've done on the Constitution, as well as anything that deals with politics and the saint of God, as well as random thoughts that I also have. So let's begin with the Fifth Amendment once more, then I'll go to the point where we're dealing with today. It says, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. We're going to deal with today on the portion that says, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. This is actually a very pertinent subject because we have been dealing with the idea of due process. It's been bandied about back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the whole idea is the intent of the word in the second word of this particular amendment, person. What constitutes a person? Now, there are those who say that this actually means citizen. So it does not apply to anyone who happen to be immigrants, whether they're legal or illegal. So you can do whatever you want with them. It's just that these laws only apply to citizens. So that's one interpretation of it. Another interpretation is that the word person means exactly what it is. A living, breathing human being. That whether they are citizens, immigrants, legal, illegal, they have to be subject to due process of law. Now, I would say that those in the camp of the former, it's easier if you only assume that the citizens are persons, and therefore due process does not deal with immigrants who run afoul of the law. And of course, those who are illegal means that they don't have permission to be here. They automatically fall afoul of the law. So therefore, they can be taken, they can be held, and they can be deported. That's one view. The other view pretty much states that everyone in this country has the right to be handled with due process, which takes a considerable more time. You have to go through courts. You have to make sure that they have legal representation. You have to go through the idea that it may be a jury type of trial. And all that takes quite a bit of time. And to be honest, in this day and age, the courts are pretty much overwhelmed. We talks about the right to a speedy trial. Sorry about that. If you can help me just for a second here. Oh no, it's okay. This is my sister. How you doing?
How are you doing?
Doing okay.
I'm good. Go see some patients and then mom.
Okay.
All right then.
I'm doing a presentation. Now you didn't lock the door, right?
No, I didn't.
Perfect.
I didn't like you out.
Perfect. Okay. All right.
Have a good day.
Take care of yourself.
Take care, you too.
That's my sister. I guess to be technical, sister-in-law, but she is like my sister, and she's been helping with my mother-in-law. She's been great help with her, with Mother Mitchell, and she's also helped me and pitched in at times with dealing with Sister Heyman. So I'm very grateful to her. I'm glad she was able to pass by, so you were able to let you know that how much of a good Samaritan she's been. Of course, she's off now to do some other things, but she's been a great help to me. Now, back to our idea regarding due process of law. That's a big thing, and that's the car. It's okay. Sometimes life happens. Yes, sometimes life happens. And so because life happens, things go on. So you see things are taking place. So this is not a completely dead place, but it is a place that people are actually living. Anyway, going back to due process of law. Due process of law, if it's taken strictly, as by its very word, means everyone gets a chance to represent themselves. If there has been a wrong and they've been accused of something, they should be able to stand before your accusers. You should be able to have them judged before a particular court. Maybe immigration courts may be a little bit more streamlined than regular courts, but it still should be a court. So that's really where it's been a tussle. Are immigrants, are they subject to due process, or are they not? And I'm not going to answer that today because essentially it's being weighed in the courts at this very time. So if I say one thing and the courts rule it another way, then we have to go change the entire thing. So we'd rather wait until this has come up before the Supreme Court. But as I said, what does this have to do with the saint of God? The whole idea of due process, even in the Bible, it talks about you just can't accuse anyone. You can't just make an accusation and then take them, kill them, do whatever you want to do with them. The idea in the Bible is that everyone should be judged on what they've done. Now, the difference in the Bible is that people in the Bible were watched over by a vigilant God. Vigilant, not vigilante, but vigilant. And therefore, he already knew what took place. That's why the man, you might say this was very harsh, but the idea here was when they saw a man gathering sticks on the Sabbath day, he was doing what was called servile work. He was essentially desecrating the Sabbath day, which was really meant for worship, for offering, for communion with God. And someone who's gathering sticks does not have that idea of God in mind. So therefore, but then they didn't just get the guy and kill him. They inquired of the Lord. And because the Lord knows everything and knows what's taking place and knows the intent, then he was able to deliver what the people should do, as harsh as it was. We, in this particular day and age, cannot fall upon that because our society is not. Now we have to, and I make sure I'm going to repeat that. Our society is not spiritual, and it's not Christian. Our laws are not Christian. As much as we may think it is, oh, this country was founded by God, it's founded by people. No, but our laws are not meant to be Christian. They're secular, and they deal with the secular person. That's the whole idea of the separation of church and state. So if you think that essentially the Word of God dictates what this country does, it is not. Now, I can go on forever about that, but I'm just letting you know the difference between this society and its laws and Old Testament Israel society and its laws. Their society was what is that word I want to say? Theocracy. There you go. It was a theocracy. It was headed by really God, as he functioned through judges, as he functioned through prophets. Now, when the kings came in, they became a monarchy, and it really fell upon the king to dictate which way to go. The kings that had followed the Lord, essentially, it was almost as if it was a theocracy. This is not happening in this day and age. So it is different, but remember, there's still some processes and procedures that still require some thinking about. Again, as I was saying before, the idea of not just someone, or you capture someone, let's go kill him. No, you have to go to the Lord and inquire of him. He served as the judge and jury. And so you could not persecute or kill someone without that particular thing. And the idea that you had to be, if anyone was accused of a crime, they had to be brought up between 2 or 3 witnesses. 2 or 3 witnesses at least. You could not prosecute someone on the witness of one person. Could that be abused? Yes, it could be. But again, if God is in control, then it would be settled in a orderly manner. Again, this is an aspect of what we may know in that day as their day's due process. What does it have to do with us now as saints of God? Just to know that you have a right as a saint to get a lawyer. You have a right as a saint to be judged by a jury of your peers. You, as a saint, you have a right to be able to present yourself either by yourself or through the representation of others. And you also are you also have the right to understand what are the charges being brought against you. They cannot just come in, grab you, hold you in a place, and not tell you what your charges are. That in itself is a lot of things that we have been dealing with, especially with those who are termed illegal immigrants. And as you're seeing this, I want you to think about it as you are looking at this. Are they subject to due process of law, or are they not? I'm not going to answer that question right here, but it's something to think about. If you don't think they are, then there's really then a different class of person. There are the citizens, and then there are the others. Of course, the Bible talks about us treating the stranger as our own. But at the same time, you would not think that a stranger in the Bible, no, even with them, they had to deal with, they were subject to the same laws. Should we do it here? That's a good question. Leave that for you to find out. But God bless you. May He keep you. Cause you to think a little bit. Oh, one other thing. Where it says life, liberty, let's see, where it says life, liberty, or property. Those are the three things that you judge by. Are you going to be executed? Life. Are you going to be imprisoned for a certain amount of time? Liberty. Are you going to have fines levied against you or property seized? Property. So that covers all of the punishments possible that may be put against you. Now, there's also the idea of essentially make the punishment fit the crime. That's another issue. But in this case, you're dealing with the idea of due process. And the question then becomes, does due process not only apply to you, but does it apply to those who are strangers? I'll be waiting for your answer. God bless you.